Hello Nikki, hello Transport Evolved. Thank you very much for your video yesterday, especially as you did it after we got back from an event, which was very, very impressive of you. Well done. You asked me why I was upset at a company like Niro going out of business, and I think you touched on the point in your reply. It's the removal of choice from the consumer. I'm all for choice, and I can see people for who this vehicle would actually be a good vehicle. If I removed from the market every vehicle that didn't suit me personally, there would be a very limited range. And I don't like the idea that just because you have fringe needs, you have to compromise and get a car that everyone else likes or suits everyone else's needs. So I quite like the idea of lots of small companies. And in fact, I think that's a better model than the model we seem to be stumbling into, which is large manufacturers make a product for the very top of the middle of the bell curve, because that's where they get the most sales. Apple meeting with Tesla, or is it Tesla meeting with Apple? That's what we're not quite sure of. The interesting thing about this story is that Apple apparently had their acquisitions manager at the meeting, which suggests it's something going from Tesla to Apple, which I think is why everyone's jumped to the conclusion that Apple was considering buying Tesla. I'm with you, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Elon Musk would allow that to happen for any other reason, and if Elon Musk isn't going to allow it to happen, it's not going to happen. He hasn't finished with Tesla yet. In that case, what did Apple want from Tesla, if it wasn't the company? I'm with you, possibly batteries. And if Apple could turn around and say, iPhone, now made in the US, or now with batteries from the US, I think that would be very, very good for them. Yeah, maybe self-drive technology. I'm not 100% convinced on that one yet, but that would be interesting. So jumping to the conclusion that Apple was trying to buy Tesla, I think is a bit of an overreaction. Maybe it happened, maybe Apple went in there with a big check, but I don't know. I can't imagine that their own research into this area didn't show that it would be very unlikely that would result in anything. What do I want to talk to you about today? Well, I've seen an interesting Facebook post from a company I'm sure you know very well, and our viewers in the UK at least will know very well, from ChargeMaster. They are one of the UK's many charging schemes. They also run a separate scheme called Polar, and Polar and ChargeMaster have this weird interaction that I don't quite understand because it's kind of a business link-up, and they're both the same but they're not the same. But regardless of that, ChargeMaster last night put out a notification which reads, from the 31st of March 2014, a range of tariffs will apply to access the Polar charging network. As I say, it's on the ChargeMaster page, but they're talking about Polar, and existing customers will be given the option to accept these or let their membership lapse. We've been here before, back in 2011, when Polar first launched. It launched as a paid-for charging network with, frankly, ridiculous prices. I shall read you how much it cost. Back in 2011 this was. Yearly fee of £100, essentially, a monthly fee of £20, and then £1, pretty much, every time you tried to charge your car. And, quite frankly, the fledgling EV community at the time went bonkers and said that was absolutely ridiculous. So I'm wondering, what are they coming out with now? What are they going to charge people? If that was what they thought was okay 3 years ago, admittedly they changed it and became free to use, or after you paid the yearly fee, what do they think's right now? Also, why are they doing this? Now there's only two reasons I can think of why they're doing this. One, Polar is a backed company, as in they've got personal investors. So maybe the investors are starting to put pressure on them, saying we need to make a return on investment, which is a legitimate thing. I would suggest this still isn't the right time, there's not enough cars on the road. The second one is, this network, I believe, is one of the networks that's part of the BMW add-on package, where BMW gives you, with your i3 or i8, gives you a card that allows you to charge the car up on pretty much any public network. And I'm wondering if for that to have value to BMW customers, and for that to have value to BMW, they need to be getting that when it costs something to someone else. It would be pointless for BMW customers to pay a monthly fee to access that network because of something that BMW has arranged that is free to other people. I shall see you again, not tomorrow, but the next day. Looking forward to your reply. Bye bye Transport Evolved, bye bye Nikki.